I think it's time for a review.
Ooh, good.
Stop. Before you keep watching, make sure you've seen both of these movies. If you have not, do not watch unless you want the spoilers and want to know what happens in the end and wants all the details, because that's what I'm gonna do. It's not gonna be, of course, a minute by minute, because that'd be about a 6 or 7 hour video. Well, maybe not that much, but you get the idea. Let's go. Time for a review. So, recently got a job at the movie theater, and working at the movie theater, you get to see free movies. Awesome perk. So I saw 2 movies, and I'm going to review both of them in this video. The first one, The Great and Powerful Oz. This movie is not what a lot of people expected, I feel. It's a long movie, but in my honest opinion, it only made The Wizard of Oz better, because it seemed to answer a lot of questions that were left untold in The Wizard of Oz, like, how did the wizard become the wizard? And that's the main question. It starts out kind of black and white, where the wizard is working at a sideshow type carnival, and he's a fake magician, and he's doing a show, and this girl wants him to fix her so she can walk, and it's very touching, and he can't do it because he's not a real wizard. Well, along comes a tornado, which we all know of, and sucks him up in the balloon that he steals, which explains the balloon in Wizard of Oz, and he lands in the Land of Oz. Now, Mila Kunis, who was fantastic in this movie, finds him. Now, I don't recall which witch she was, because there's a total of 3 witches in the movie, which gets confusing, but at the end it's all explained when we find out that the witch that we thought was the good witch is actually the Wicked Witch of the West. So I think Mila Kunis is like the northwest, or the east, north, or the south, or something, I don't know. But the point is, she's wicked, but then there's the Wicked Witch of the West. So throughout the movie, the wizard is trying to tell people, you know, I'm not a real wizard, but I want this money, I want this notoriety, I want this fame, so he has to go along with it. He's told he has to kill the Glinda, the bad witch, who's actually, we all know, the good witch. Come to find out, Glinda is the one that's the good witch, and the sister that sent him on this quest is the bad wicked witch. So the wizard and his team all team together, and they fight the Wicked Witch and her, well, and Mila Kunis, the Wicked Witch, and the flying monkeys, which have become terrifying. A lot of children I know left the theater and didn't like the movie because they were terrified of the flying monkeys. I was more creeped out about the talking doll at first, but then I fell in love with her because she was so damn cute. But after they fake fight the battle, because he's using all the mastering of illusion to kind of do this, because the townspeople aren't allowed to kill anybody. It's a rule of the Land of Oz. So what do? They create an illusion, and that gets the baboons, or, well, the flying monkeys, to go into the poppies, and they have a long, long sleep. So, towards the end of the movie, you see a big, powerful show where fireworks go off, and it looks like it's, like, attacking them, and the wizard is in his, you know, creating his giant head on the screen, because he got one of the builders to make it. So, it's a really, really cool movie. I loved it personally. I thought it was so colorful. I thought it was gorgeous, and I really, really liked it. So, I'm going to give it probably, honestly, an 8.5, 9 out of 10 stars, just because it was so beautifully done. I loved it. I was captivated by it, and even though it was long, I so enjoyed it. Great ending also. Unlike the next movie that I'm going to review, The Call. The Call starts out with a really powerful opening scene of all these 911 dispatch calls and being recorded and talking about, like, you know, oh, my wife is this, and oh my God, I think I hit them with my car, and oh, I think I'm gonna do, what am I gonna do? And it's very intense, and then it just kind of closes and then brings you the scene where they're in the dispatch center. Now, I don't really know of any dispatch centers that look that crazy fancy, but it did seem like they did their research to know how and what would happen in a dispatch center. I can only base it off of my area, and I haven't even been in one of those, so I don't know. It really gave me even more of a respect for what 911 dispatch does. I tried to get a job there, I didn't get one, but it really gives you an idea of how stressful that job can be. Pretty quickly, the movie gets going, and Halle Berry, who, in my opinion, hasn't really changed her appearance since 1997, which is amazing to look that youthful in 2013. So it was cool to see her in something, and she did a great job. So she plays a 911 dispatcher, and named Jordan, and she is taking a call when this girl is being in her house and there's an intruder that breaks in. Well, Jordan wasn't thinking, and Jordan calls her back, which gives the clue that, hey, they're in the house. You missed them. He goes and finds her, and he says this quote that becomes true to the movie: "It's already done." Or, "It's too late, it's already done." So, she feels so awful. The girl ends up getting killed, her body gets found, and fast forward 6 months, she's now teaching a bunch of newbies about the center because she's not doing the calls anymore because she was taking a break. And one of the newest ones that starts taking this call, this girl gets abducted from the mall, who's Abigail Breslin, who plays Casey. And Casey is abducted in a trunk, and she's calling on the phone. And people complain that in this movie there's a lot of close-ups, but if you think about it, most of the time that Casey's on screen, she's in a freaking trunk. You don't have much room, so that was believable in my opinion. I thought she was very believable. So they're kind of following this trek of her being in the trunk, and then people are noticing something weird because she's doing what Jordan tells her to, like break the headlight and pour out the paint, and then a person calls and then they get killed. And then I felt at first like more and more people were going to call and it was just going to keep the story going on. But what really happens is Jordan takes it upon herself to go and investigate because she gets so invested in this case. And so she goes from 911 dispatcher to butt kicker mama, whatever. Backing up a little bit, Casey's brought back to the house, and the killer, or the killer, the abductor is like grooming her and getting her all nice and clean, and you kind of find out that there was something with his sister that looked like Casey, and they don't really ever give you detail of why he is doing what he's doing. So it's in like this almost like Saw Hostel looking type house, and like I'm saying, the movie literally just shifts gears entirely as if a car just went from like I don't even know what happened. Jordan ends up kicking the dude's butt, and then Casey kicks the dude's butt, and Casey, let me just say, she has a fat eye and like a fat half of her face because he punches her, and it looks very cartoony. I didn't think she looked very believable at that with the makeup. So she starts, like she throws the scissors in his back, and then he throws them back, and then Jordan hits him with something, and then he falls back into the pit, which was under the ground, and it's very like dark and very psychotic. But at the end, the entire momentum of the movie shifted. It was not like this at all. And then the very end, it's just like, I'm gonna put you in Saw now. Kind of how it felt. So I personally hated the ending. I thought it was terrible. I really didn't like that they just leave you hanging. Maybe they're trying to kind of go along with what the recent hire at the 911 dispatch said, where she goes, the only thing I hate the most is I never know what happens after that call is over, or after I hang up. And maybe they're making room for a sequel, but I didn't like the ending. And the audience laughs. I saw a couple of reviews, and I agree. This is a movie that you need to see with a big crowd, because that's going to make it more fun. Because it's a very in-your-face, you're very reactive to it type thing. Like oh, don't go in there. Oh, girl, look what she did. Oh, no. That's the kind of crowd that you want. In all, I'm going to give that movie probably 7 stars out of 10. The ending was just that random to me, and just threw off the momentum of the movie, that it made the movie less than what it could have been. And it just didn't make sense. They just leave him hanging. They tried to become like the psychotic people, and they weren't believable in that moment. Nor Halle Berry, nor Abigail Breslin. Let me know if you saw these movies. Let me know if you liked my reviews, if you agree, if you disagree. Write comments. I don't care. That's fine. And let me know if there's any other reviews you want me to do. Let me know. See ya. Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to share, comment, like, and subscribe. See you next time. Seriously, go subscribe. Make sure to follow me on Twitter and ask me questions on Formspring. Melody loves you. See ya. Keep it fierce.